listening to Stimulating Conversations, where no topic is taboo and no taboo is off limits. I am your host, Christy Garynell. All right, welcome back to another episode of Stimulating Conversations with Christy Garynell, where no topic is taboo and no taboo is off limits. Today, I've got my beautiful daughter with me. Say hello to my daughter, Yasmeen. Anybody who's heard my comedy or knows me has heard about Yasmeen. Yasmeen, say hello to the people.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, you know what it means.
No, what's that supposed to mean?
That means that, I talk about you from time to time in some of my jokes. And today, I've got the pleasure of talking with you. And guess what we get to talk about today? Yes. You have
the conversation. No, actually, we're not.
You want to talk about
We're not going to talk about that. No, thank you.
Are you sure?
Actually, I prefer not to talk about.
We can talk about the conversation you're having on your phone. Yeah. Let's explore that. Because that's probably just as interesting as what we were going to talk about.
No, I'm okay.
You sure?
I'm perfectly content not talking.
You want me to read it? Can I read it out loud?
Are you crazy? You're not. You can't even read it to yourself.
Can I read it?
No.
Why? What could you possibly have to hide from your mother? I thought we had an open relationship where you were honest and you shared everything with me.
No.
No? So that's not what we do?
We have an open relationship. It's a don't ask, don't tell. You don't ask, I don't tell. I don't ask, you don't tell. Unless you ask, there's no telling.
That's not how I wanted it to go, though. I wanted it to be like, you don't ask, I don't tell, but if I ask, you tell me everything. Yeah. So, be careful putting that down. Yeah.
Oh, is that better for you?
Yes, thank you.
You are welcome.
So, today, we want to talk about your favorite topic.
My favorite movies? We're going to talk about movies? That's my favorite topic.
Your favorite topic. Okay, let's start with movies. What's your favorite movie that you've seen lately?
Lately?
Mm-hmm. The most recent movie that was your, favorite. Yeah.
The Greatest Showman.
The Greatest Showman?
That was my favorite.
That was, what did you love about it? Or what did you like about it?
What
made it your favorite?
I liked everything. The musical, I love that fact that it was a musical. I apparently like musicals, so I don't know. But I like the songs. I like the cast. It was a really great cast.
Did it inspire you to want to join the circus?
It definitely inspired me to want to do trapeze.
Oh, like Zendaya.
Yes, I am appreciative of her artistic abilities.
Her what abilities?
Artistic abilities.
Artistic abilities, okay.
Yes.
How many times have you seen The Greatest Showman? No, the people want to know. How many times have you seen it?
I stopped counting after 10.
Wow, you've seen it more than 10?
Yes.
How many of those times were in theaters?
5.
5 times in theaters.
5.5.
You're a junkie for...
What?
You're a film junkie.
What?
You're a film junkie.
I never.
Yeah.
Film junkie.
So, The Greatest Showman. That was a really child-friendly show.
Movie,
yeah.
Cannot mistake the two. They're very different.
Well, it has show in the title, so I figured I can call it a show. Because it was about a showman. Okay, so, moving on. We're actually going to be talking today about how to talk to your teenage daughter about sex. Are you ready? Why not?
Do you know how many times I have avoided this conversation?
Yeah.
Like every time you have tried to start this conversation with me, I have gotten out of it.
When's the first time you remember me trying to talk to you about sex?
I was in 2nd grade.
2nd grade. And why did you not want to talk about it?
Because I was in 2nd grade.
But I think it's important, at every age to kind of make your kids aware of certain things.
I was 6.
Okay, 6-year-olds need to know if somebody's trying to touch you inappropriately, don't let them. Has anyone ever touched you inappropriately?
No.
Why? Because I've been talking to you about it since you were 6. Actually 2, but 6 is the first time you can remember. But from the time you were little, I would always ask you, hey, has anybody touched you? Has anybody done anything to you that made you feel uncomfortable? Has anyone been inappropriate with you? And you're always like, what do you mean? No. And then when you were 6, you started saying, I don't want to talk about this. So it kind of escalated a little bit. But so do you remember the kinds of things I tried to talk to you about when you were 6 or whatever?
No.
You want me to remind you?
No.
Okay, I won't remind you specifically what I said to you. But I will say that if I were going to advise somebody on what to say to their 6-year-old about sex specifically, I would just tell them, one, tell your child, if they're approached by a man or a woman, anybody who tries to touch them inappropriately, be very clear, say no, don't touch me, and go tell an adult so that they can do something about it, because nobody should be touching a 6-year-old in any of their private places. And then I would tell you, like, which places are, inappropriate for people to touch, right? Like, is that basically what I did when you were 6?
Yes.
And, and then I also would make sure to tell my kids not to touch anyone else inappropriately. No smacking boys on the butt, no touching girls, rubbing their butts, like none of that, so.
Okay, now wait a minute. Smacking a boy on the butt. Is this inappropriate?
It is if he complains about it. It's if he says stop and you keep doing it. I think at that point it's inappropriate.
Like he was just like, he was saying stop, but he wasn't saying stop.
Oh, his no didn't mean no. It was one of those.
Saying,
his no meant yes.
If you're gonna wear your pants around your legs, around your legs.
It's inviting it.
You just want me to go.
Oh, so it's his fault.
No, it was definitely mine. My hand made contact with his, but.
Oh, your hand. So, but how come when he said no, that didn't make it not okay?
He knows what he did.
What did he do? Tell the people what he did.
I don't know what he did. I said he knows what he did. What?
Okay. So anyway, yeah. I think that's what prompted that conversation.
Okay, wait. I was actually referring to a more recent time.
Oh.
Not a younger time. Don't you know what you're talking about?
Oh, you had more recent boys. Bap on the button.
I was in high school. Yes, I did.
And he also told you not to hit him on the...
He was like, whoa, why don't you don't do that. I was like, I hear your yes.
I hear your yes. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute, though. So, as a woman, if you say no, it means no, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's a whole movement going on right now, #MeToo, where all the women are talking about how they've been harassed and or violated to some degree sexually by men, sometimes men in a position of authority. But as women, do we ever really think of or acknowledge us doing it to men as being wrong? Do you think it's the same level of wrong if a woman touches a man or harasses him inappropriately? Like, is that a thing that can happen? Can a woman sexually harass a man?
I feel like this is not the conversation you told me we were going to be having.
I know, but this is where the conversation is going.
Okay,
let's just hold on. Can a woman sexually harass a man?
I'm sure she can.
Well, what determines whether or not a woman is sexually harassing a man?
Okay, well, if the guy is in a relationship with another female, and you just attack him anyway. I'm pretty sure that's sexual harassment, just saying.
So it's only sexual harassment.
I didn't say that. I was just saying that is one of the clear cause cases of sexual harassment.
Okay. I think that's fair. If he's in a relationship with another woman and he's telling you, hey, I've got a woman in my life and I'm not interested, and you continue, that's probably definitely sexual harassment. But if he's single and, he's saying, yeah, I'm not interested or don't touch me, and you continue, is that?
I think it depends on the level of the relationship that you have with the person. I mean, like, in my particular case, this particular person that I did it to, I was totally just messing with him, and I didn't even hit him after that. It was just like, I heard your yes, but okay.
I heard your yes. Yeah, every man's no means yes.
That's not what I'm saying.
I mean, in my mind, that's true. Like, every time a man says no, I hear yes. And, I mean, not, like, yes, but maybe, you know? Like, I think he, in my mind,
I hear your yes.
He doesn't really care, you know? And I've been guilty of smacking a man on the ass a couple times, myself, so... It is fun, but I don't want them to smack me on the ass. Well, so there's definitely a double standard.
Harder, just like way harder.
No, I do like being smacked. I mean,
no.
Sorry, that was
no.
I didn't mean to say that in front of you.
No.
Okay, but no, what I'm saying. What I'm saying.
I am done. Good talk. Let's do this again later. Okay.
No, but what I am saying is there are times like when I've been out in public, right, and like I've been at a bar or whatever, and actually there was one time in particular where I like chalked my hand, like I was at a pool hall. I chalked my hand and I went and like slapped some guy on the butt, and it left like a big chalk handprint, and his friends were like laughing so hard. And everybody, like, it was a big joke, and they started telling me to do it to other people. And so, like, the whole night, I'm chalking my hand up, and I'm hitting guys on the butt, like, all around the bar. And they would, like, point out people that they wanted me to hit, you know. And whenever I'd hit them, the guys that I hit, they weren't, like, mad, like, would you hit me on the butt? They were just like, that's funny, you know.
You got me.
Yeah, basically, you got me. And then... there was, I went in the bathroom, and because I was like, let me go wash my hands, and this woman comes in the bathroom, and she's like, I'm mad at you, and I'm thinking I must have, like, hit her boyfriend on the butt or something, because she's mad, so I'm like, what did I do? And she goes, you didn't chalk my butt. And I was like, oh, my bad, I'll get you when we go back out. And she was like really feeling some kind of way. So that even more emphasized to me that, you know, it's okay to, you know, violate both men and women if you're a woman, but it's not okay if you're a man. And I think that's one of the double standards I love about being a woman. Don't you?
Yes. You can definitely do things to both men and women that you would not do as a man.
Right. Like as a man, you can't do these things to men or women, or you're like completely demonized. But as a woman, it's okay. You know, it's par for the course. In fact,
a man can't just go and hit a random man's butt. That's weird.
Oh my gosh, that's gay, right? But
it's just weird. Like,
no, well, yeah. So, but a woman, and you can't just go hit a woman's butt because that's harassment. But as a woman, I can hit a man or a woman on the butt, and it's flattering even. So that's one of the things that I love about.
I think I need to go and chalk people on the butt now.
No,
I should use pudding.
Pudding sticks and stains.
Exactly.
You can cut issues. I don't know where you get that from.
You.
No. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. So the first time I tried to talk to you about sex, you were 6. And then the next time, how old were you?
I don't know. I've been avoiding this conversation for a very long time.
I think I've tried, like, probably every couple of years to talk to you about sex. And
I was always busy.
You would get squeamish. You would get squeamish every time.
Busy doing anything else.
You were never really busy.
I was too busy for that conversation.
So tell me, why have you been avoiding that conversation? Like, what do you...
busy.
But what do you think is going to come out of the conversation that you don't want to talk about or hear?
The conversation itself.
But what aspect of it? Like, what is it that you're, like, specifically avoiding?
Talking to my mother about her sexual partners.
But I've never tried to talk to you about my sexual partners. I'm trying to talk to you about sex in general.
No, yes, you have.
When have I ever tried to talk to you about my sexual partners?
The last time you tried to talk to me about sex.
What did I say about my partners?
You're like, it's such a different feeling where there's a deep and spiritual connection.
That didn't say anything about my partners.
Oh, no, you did. You specified. I was
no.
or don't. And then I ran away because we were on a track at a park and it was time to run away.
I think what I was getting at, though, is when you have a connection with somebody.
Whenever I talk about this, we got it.
It's a different experience than when you don't.
I got it out of my system.
No, but honestly, I feel like it's important for young girls to understand like what to expect when they have sex for the first time. And to my knowledge, you haven't had sex for the first time yet, right?
And now you're blasting my information. She told me you were going to blast my information. She did. She was like, ooh, girl, she going to get you. She going to tell all your information out there. I was like, I know she is. I got to get out of this. She was like, do you want me to help you? I was like, yes.
Who is she? Who is the she we're talking about?
Jane Doe.
Jane Doe. Are we talking about that girl?
We're talking about Jane Doe.
Okay. So Jane Doe, who I guess is the one that's been blowing up your phone.
No, this is a different Jane Doe.
Oh, okay. So you told someone.
It's not. Maybe it is. I don't know. Who knows?
You told someone you were coming to do this with me, and
that you wanted me to do this with you.
And they warned you and said I was gonna blast all your personal business.
She was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna tell the whole world how you're so and so age and that you're still a virgin. And I'm like, and this is why you can't listen to it.
Is it bad to be so and so your age?
No.
Is it bad to be your age and still
not.
virgin?
I'm like super like, heck yeah, I did it. I didn't get pregnant in high school. Ha ha, suckers.
Okay, you didn't get pregnant in high school. There's still college. Don't get pregnant there either. You know, or until I'm in my 50s, as we agreed.
I'm still in college when you're 50.
I didn't say when I'm 50. I said in my 50s.
You see how that's still 50?
Yeah, but
I'll still be in college when you're 51.
Okay, you don't have to have kids until I'm like 53 or 4 or 5 or 6. You could really wait till I'm 60.
That's not going to happen.
I'm just saying I'm giving you options.
By the time you're 60, I'll be like...
Yeah? That old? Exactly. Let's
Can't
not talk
turn
about
that
age.
high.
Let's go back to sex and talk about how...
that high. I was just saying. But no, yes, I am an 18-year-old virgin. And I am proud of it.
I'm proud of that too.
Yes.
So are you saving yourself for marriage?
No. Let me be very clear. I am not doing that. No.
I don't see anything wrong with saving yourself for
You
marriage.
told me not
Stop.
to.
That's ridiculous.
No, you actually
What
told
kind
me
of
not.
mother would tell their daughter not to save themselves for marriage? That's
My
so
mother.
crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Crazy. That is what you are.
Ludicrous.
You
No,
are
I don't.
crazy.
So I didn't mean
Ludicrous.
don't save yourself for marriage.
You told
what I'm
me
saying.
don't save yourself.
Okay, that was my old advice.
Advice is advice. I've taken it. I have developed it into my mindset, and it is sticking.
What I'm saying is I have
Sticking.
pertinent new advice for you.
Sticking.
There is nothing wrong with saving yourself for marriage because whoever that first person is, that experience that you have, it's going to be so unique to you and him that, you know, you won't know that there's anything else, so you won't miss anything else. Like, you can be really content in that bond, in that connection, in that relationship, in that experience because there's nothing else to draw from, so to speak. And so that's all you know, and you really kind of tend to appreciate that for what it is.
Yes, that is true.
And you
That
can
is
grow
a
in that experience
possibility
together.
that probably will not happen to me.
It might. You never know. I married the first person I had sex with, so that was your
How
dad.
long were you married for?
I did 5 to 7 years in that
Fine.
marriage.
You did hard time? Yeah, you did. Hard time. You know why?
I did 5 to 7.
It's hard. It's hard. Hard.
It was.
It's hard.
It started off pretty easy though. No.
Well, for long periods of time.
Yeah, but I didn't know that going in. So once I, that kind of developed later.
Mm.
But for the most part,
Probably won't even make it past 19.
19 what?
Nothing.
Okay. No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Keep playing. I'm auctioning it off for you.
See? Here we go again.
I'm just saying, you say ridiculous things. I'm gonna say ridiculous things.
I'm just saying.
Virginity goes for a very decent fee these days. I mean,
decent fee, as in you were going to sell my virginity. You can't sell my virginity. It's mine.
We can sell it collectively.
No,
we can.
I get all the money.
How rude!
You get the pride that you sold it.
That's rude.
Yeah.
Why would I sell it for nothing? I'm not gonna get any money out of it. I'm not gonna.
I'll pay for your plane ticket home.
Home?
You wanted to sell it in the States?
You wanted me to travel with you to sell it?
I'm just saying, you know, these people in America have diseases. No offense.
People in foreign countries have diseases. Actually, some of the highest paying countries for virginity have some of the highest disease rates as well.
Okay, so I'm going to become a nun now.
I like that idea.
No!
I like you as a nun.
I don't make a good nun.
No? I think you could.
I can't wear the whole penguin uniform. Outfit. No, I can't wear the penguin outfit.
No?
Mm-mm.
Also, you're not Catholic, so there's that.
Oh, you know. Well, I could become Catholic. Who says I can't be Catholic?
Really?
Not all Catholics
Really?
are born Catholic.
No. You gonna become Catholic?
Catholic.
You're gonna become Catholic?
What's wrong with being Catholic?
I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. I'm just asking you if it's something that you think you could really do in your life.
What goes along with being Catholic before I say yes to this?
Let's see, confessing your sins to the priest.
Ooh. What qualifies as sins?
They'll tell you what the sins are.
Oh, okay.
I think like cussing is a sin.
Definitely do that.
What are the other sins? I think stealing, drinking, lying, cheating,
definitely
adultery, sex is, I think, is fornication.
I like to fornicate.
No, you don't.
No?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully you will when you start, but you don't know yet if you like it.
Oh. I don't think I know what fornicating is.
Probably you shouldn't walk around saying I like to do stuff if you don't know the definition. What did you think fornicate meant?
You know, talking.
No. Fornication is one of those.
Grinding coochies.
Is that something you like to do?
I'm just saying, is that what it means?
No,
is it like grinding coochies?
It's just another word for sex.
That's what grinding coochies is.
I mean, only if you're with someone who has a coochie and you have a coochie, then I guess that's...
Okay, a coochie is any part on the lower region.
No,
so
I don't think men have coochies.
Guys have coochies?
I think every guy out there right now is highly offended by the fact that you just said they have coochies.
Probably. I think I offended a lot of people today.
all the men are like, I do not have a coochie. I got a dick. I got a cock. I don't have no coochie. Okay, the coochie is
they got
girls
coochies.
have.
They got coochies. They gonna grind their coochies.
Ew, no.
No.
Mm-mm.
I suppose you can't. No, you could grind it.
I think grinding coochies is a specifically lesbian term.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Mm-mm.
I think only lesbians can grind
No,
coochies.
I mean, have you ever seen the grind dance?
No.
Well, guys do it all the time.
But they don't do it with
Yeah,
but they don't have coochies.
You kind of just.
Okay, so here's the thing. Speaking of grinding coochies and lesbianism, you've grown up in an age that gender has been, what's the word? Fluided. Yes, gender has been given a great deal of fluidity. Do you think that has affected you? Because I think at the beginning of your education, it wasn't something that was an issue. But now they're like talking to kids in elementary school.
Is it an issue?
Well, I mean, for those of us like my generation, gender was very defined, very clear. You were either a boy or a girl. You were either heterosexual or homosexual or transsexual. There wasn't a whole, like now you've got like lesbian, what is it, LGBT, so that's lesbian, gay, bisexual.
Is it A?
T with transgender, Q queer, A is what, asexual?
I would thought
I think there's an
Q
I
was
too.
questioning, not
That
really
Q
queer.
is queer.
What is a queer? Isn't a queer just someone who's gay?
Gay adjacent. Like it might be bi-curious, might be queer, or somebody that acts very feminine, or like a guy that might act very effeminate but may not necessarily be gay or something. Or they might be full gay. I don't know. I probably should have researched it before.
You just started talking about it.
Yeah.
Just talking about things.
But no, because there seems to be like an increase in the number of.
Definitely, probably. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to it. Everybody's just kind of everybody.
Everybody's just everybody. So you don't feel any pressure from like women or girls in your school to try, I guess, rubbing coochies with you, grinding coochies. You
don't grind it. Okay, first off, you can grind a coochie with anybody because everybody has coochies. Just saying, I don't care what they say.
However. So, have you ever grinded coochies with someone?
Oh, no. You can't grind a coochie if you're a virgin. What?
So, grinding coochies, that's a term that means having sex?
Yes.
So, because when I was growing up, we had terms like humping or grinding, which wasn't actually having sex. Like, we had dry humping.
Okay. Those are things. Although they call it throwing it back. And
throwing it back.
Throwing it back, twerking. Gotta get it.
I'm not. See, I'm learning today.
You don't know how to twerk?
I mean, I know how to twerk, but I know about twerking.
Oh, okay.
I was twerking before it was twerking.
That's what all the old people say.
I know, right? That's how you date yourself. Like, that's how you let people know that you're way too old for that conversation. I was twerking before it was twerking. Okay, bitch, you old. Basically.
You old. Go away.
If you didn't start twerking when they started calling it twerking, you're old. So, so humping or dry grinding, like that's when you have your clothes on.
Yes.
And you're like, grinding.
Grinding coochies.
I didn't say coochies, I just said grinding. Like you're like rubbing up against each other really quickly.
You can't grind if you're throwing it back. There's no grinding and throwing it back. That's Lord have mercy. Someone teach us.
Okay, I'm asking you to teach me. Break it down. Tell us how it goes.
When you throw it back, you are taking your badonkadonk and you are going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Usually in front of someone.
Okay.
So, yes, it's like dry humping.
So, throwing it back, okay, but that's kind of like simulating doggy style, right? Or something like that.
No. What? No.
Because like dry humping is like full on missionary style, like two people laying on top of each other, and these terms are all unfamiliar to you.
I don't even understand what you're talking about.
Okay, so conversations with a virgin, that's how that goes.
First off.
No, I didn't mean it in an offensive way.
Yes, I understand what missionary is. Thank you very much. I do.
Okay.
I've had a lot of friends that are guys and you hear things.
You hear things?
You hear things.
What kind of things do you hear?
And you see things.
So you hear things and you see things, but you don't ever think to maybe like question it or like, hey, Mom,
when you see what I see, you don't need to question what you see.
No.
There are no questions.
It's all apparent.
It's all very clear.
So there's no question. Like you feel like you already know everything you need to know about sex.
I feel like I don't need to question what I just saw.
But do you feel like you know all that you need to know regarding like sex and how to protect yourself and how not to get diseases and how not to get pregnant and how not to find yourself in a situation where you might be assaulted or date raped and or molested and or in any way.
Yes, I feel like I know this information, and I also feel like there is certain information you just don't know until you've experienced it. Not like the whole last part that you were just talking about. No. That part you just know before you even have to experience that. Yes, those are things that you can have conversations about and understand what you should do in those types of situations. I've had those conversations. I'm good. No, you haven't yet. Please.
Okay,
no more.
No, tell me.
However, there are certain things that you just don't know until you've experienced. I mean, like, no one can really tell you the feeling. They can try to explain it, but you won't really get it until you've done it.
Okay, but like, for instance, how if you're out with some friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're at a club or whatever, once you're of drinking age, how do you protect yourself from somebody slipping something in your drink or...
The buddy system.
Okay, tell us how the buddy system works.
You have an even number of people in your group. That way there is no one left out. And each of you has a buddy.
And what does the buddy do?
The buddy watches out for you. And then you also have that one person who is not drinking at all that night. Usually me, because I've been the designated non-drinker apparently by all of my friend groups.
So you're the designated non-drinker. And
most of the time.
And you're the one who would like make sure nobody's drinks are being messed with
and then if they are messed with, you have to watch out for all of the people.
So if you see somebody messing with somebody's drink, do you like tell them or do you throw it out or what do you do?
You throw it out or you switch it so then that person who did it actually is the one who drinks it. But you know you have to have that's a 2-man op. So if someone goes in and they distract them, and then you just and then you back up and you also inform the person of who got the drink and you're like, listen. So like someone comes in and they like either they bump into them, they do something to distract them, they spill a drink on them, get their attention averted. And then you just kind of slide in, say, hey, look, you tried to disrespect your drink. And then you're like, we're going to switch it. And then you just kind of shoot, and then you get out of there as fast as possible. And then the other person gets away really clear. And then you're like, and then you drink your drink, and he drinks his drink. It's like,
what if you didn't order the same thing?
And you pour it out.
Okay. And so what do you do
if you don't want to? No, you just pour it out. Or you pour it back in the guy's face. Like, yeah, I know what you did. Get out away from me.
Nasty. Okay. All right. So, okay. What do you do and then if a guy is trying to talk to you but you're not interested in him? And he's like, hey, shawty, let me get your
buddy system.
Number. Okay, let's say your buddy went to the bathroom and he swoops in and he's like, hey.
Buddy system, the buddy doesn't go to the bathroom without you.
Okay. Well, what if a guy just like comes up to you and hits you on the butt or grabs your boob or something when you're out? What do you do?
You squeeze his teeny weeny weeny.
Oh, so wow. What if he thinks that means that you're interested?
Not the way I squeeze it.
Do you think it's okay to just go squeezing people's teeth?
Is it okay for them to grab my butt or my butt?
I don't think so, but
well,
I don't know.
What's the
difference? Is
difference?
that the best way to handle it?
Well, while he is crying on the floor, asking for his mommy, you leave.
What if he tries to fight you or hit you?
Not the way I squeeze it.
No.
All he's doing is crying on the floor.
You go in full throttle.
No, I ram it.
Oh, with your knee or?
No. Well, it depends.
Your fist?
It depends.
Whatever's closest.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes with my heel.
So you don't just.
My shoe and go.
You don't just tell him, don't do that. No.
That's so ridiculous.
Don't do that. That's inappropriate.
No.
Don't touch me there.
No.
You don't playfully like giggle and laugh and go, stop.
No.
Why not?
He's ugly.
But what if he's cute?
You still don't. You look at him, you give him the whole up-down.
The whole up-down?
Yeah. The whole up-down. And then you decide your course of action from there. If he's ugly, looks perverted, and just looks like a drunk, you just squeeze him.
Yeah. And if he's not, if he's cute?
You throw your drink in his face.
Oh.
Make sure you get in his eyes.
So, if he's good looking, then the punishment isn't as harsh for negative behavior.
Do you know what it feels like to get alcohol in your eye?
No, I don't. I haven't had that experience.
It's not a good feeling.
Have you had that experience? No,
It's
I'm
not a good feeling.
Have you had that experience?
It's not a good feeling.
We'll call her back. Yeah, but no, I haven't had that experience.
Not a good feeling.
I assume it's not, but I'm just saying.
Alcohol burns.
But don't you feel like do you feel like it's okay for there to be like different levels of treatment for?
Either way, they're gonna be crying on the floor, screaming and pain.
I'm just. But is it okay that there's different levels of treatment for unattractive men versus attractive men? Like, do you think there's like some kind of disconnect in our society where some men think it's okay to do certain things because they've gotten away with it because they're good looking, and other men get punished for the same behavior because they're less attractive or less rich? Stop doing that. You can't hear that in the, yeah, so stop doing that. Oh, I guess she really wants to talk to me.
Somebody
I'll call
wants
her
to have a
back.
conversation with you.
Yeah, I know. I'll call her back.
Jane Doe's.
Oh, I should have answered. Maybe she has something to add to the show.
No.
No? You don't think she has something to add to the show?
I don't know. You go ahead and call back and check my messages.
That's so rude. I asked you a question.
I don't know. I'm checking my messages.
No, this isn't the time to check your messages. This is the time to answer the question. Do you think it's okay that men who are attractive get away with stuff before, more than...
Are you going to answer that? So she wants to
Hey, you're on the air. I'm doing a podcast right now. So right now we're talking to Yasmeen about how... Yes, we are. We're talking to Yasmeen about how to talk to your teenage daughter about sex. Do you have any ideas for us about that?
How to talk to your teen daughter about sex?
Yeah.
Please text faster.
I think the first thing that you would need to do is hopefully have already established some basis about conversations about sex before she's actually a teen. But once you guys have, I think the next thing that you definitely want to do is let her know that being sexually active is completely normal and is a completely natural part of life. And then I think you can probably do well just to open up the door, open up the floor, and just have open-ended discussions about it. Just ask her, ask her if she has any thoughts about it. Ask her if she's been talking to her friends about it. Maybe you just kind of give her, some of your opinions and views about it. Instead of just going.
You think that's a good approach, Yasmeen?
I don't know what she said.
Oh, you heard her.
No, I actually didn't. I was too focused on what's happening on my phone to actually... No.
So she said it's good to have open, honest communications about sex, and you should start when they're young so that you kind of open the gateway for it, and they know, they're comfortable, they're used to you talking to them about sex.
What?
Do you disagree?
I'm like really tuning you out. Sit here.
Stop tuning me out. This is serious.
Super important.
So, do you think it's okay,
Huh?
caller, while I have you on the line, do you think it's okay to buy your teenage daughter birth control or contraception?
level of the child.
She's so uncomfortable. No, I'm texting super interesting
But I mean,
conversation.
I think I don't necessarily think I would prefer the method of birth control, but if I felt like that was the way that I needed to go, as far as to keep my child hopefully safe and, you know, keep their life on track for, you know, what their future is concerned, I definitely feel like that is, you know, definitely a route to go.
Oh, cool. Yasmeen, do you think it's do you think it's a good idea for parents to buy birth control for their teenagers?
Well, some parents won't actually let their teenagers out of the house without being on birth control.
You have friends like that?
No.
Tell the
Answers.
truth. You don't have to say their names. Just say yes or no. Do you have friends whose parents won't let them out of the house without them being on birth control?
No comment.
Yes or no. Nobody's gonna know who your friends are.
My friends will know who they are if I answer this question.
But they're not gonna know you. They're the friend you're talking about. Based on your answer, I'm assuming you do have friends.
Yes,
whose
I do have.
parents
I
won't
do
let
have
them out.
friends, plural, whose parents won't let them out without being on birth control.
Oh, I've never had to get you birth control. Thank goodness.
That's because you know I'm not doing nothing.
That is because I know you're not doing anything, even though sometimes you okay. Okay.
There's been no silence. You can't do this to me.
There's been no what?
There's been no silence. You can't do this to me.
Okay, fine. You're right. I won't do that to you. But I agree. I think it depends on the child. On like, I don't know though. I think if the child is old enough to have sex, they should be old enough to buy their own birth control. They should at least, you know what I mean? Like, you need to have a job. You need to be able to buy your,
Well,
like,
you know, some people who
buy
are
your
like
own
having
condoms
sex are
or-
like too young to actually get a job.
yeah, that's the problem. That's not okay. If you're not old enough to buy your own birth control or get a job, you're not old enough to have sex, in my opinion. That's way too young.
I mean, technically mowing the lawn is a job, so.
Okay, that is a job.
They can do that at like 8. Are you saying it's okay for them to do it at 8?
No, I'm not saying it's okay for them to do it at 8, but I'm saying I don't think birth control is something you should expect your parent to provide you. But it's definitely something you...
Hey, maybe not birth control, but like condoms. I feel like parents should provide condoms because, you know, teens are stupid.
I don't think so. I mean, the clinic will give them to you for free. There are clinics that try
That's
to prevent,
true.
but
However, most people can't get to a clinic.
thank you for calling in and sharing your opinion with us.
We'll call you back later.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, bye. All right, so we've had our first caller, and I think her opinions were pretty valid. What did you think? You seemed very uncomfortable with what our caller had to say. If you keep looking at that phone, I'm gonna read those messages out loud.
It's a call. I'm
Oh.
not going to take it.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, let's talk to your caller too. Is it a teenager who would be willing to talk to us about their sexual experiences
No.
on the air? I think so.
They're not.
Well, do you want to make it stop ringing?
I did. You see, just now.
And maybe put it on vibrate or silent or off the table? Or off the table?
You said or.
Yeah, I keep saying or. Because I'm trying to give you the most possible option. Oh my
No.
God.
Yeah, but anyway, back to whatever conversation it was that I want to change it to right now.
I think the conversation is going swimmingly.
Swimmingly? More like choppily.
Choppily.
Choppily. Choppily.
So before we had our caller, we were talking about grinding.
Coochies.
Grinding coochies. Yeah. Do you
When was the last time you... Nope, I don't want to know.
Do you-
No! I don't want to know.
No, I'm not. No.
Thank you.
We have a guest in the studio, a male guest, and we're gonna ask the guest.
Yes, guest, please come.
Do you think it's inappropriate to call male genitalia
I think
coochie?
you're back. Don't join us.
It doesn't fit at all.
So she suggested that grinding coochies can be something that men and women do together, and I was thinking that men would probably be offended by having their body parts they're referred to as coochies.
No.
No,
No.
men,
No,
men don't
not
have
at
coochies.
all. Not close.
Grinding coochies.
No.
I told you men don't.
This
really-
2018
See,
stuff, I
okay,
don't know what that's about.
This man is from your generation.
He
He is not from my generation. So, if I were to talk to a guy in my generation, we don't know what he would say.
Now we have to find a guy from your generation and ask
We're gonna
him
find one of those at.
in your phone.
Or I don't have a lot of male numbers in my phone.
I don't believe that. You have enough. Let's call Timmy. Let's call Timothy, and
Or someone else.
or Ethan, or we can call any boy. I'm sure John. There is
Who's John?
James. I'm just calling out boys' names that may or may not be in your phone that we can call and ask them if they are comfortable with their genitalia, penis, dick, cock, whatever they call it, if they're comfortable with it being called a coochie.
No, okay, see, I'm not, no, see, because the way you're taking it and the way I'm saying it are two very different things.
I'm not taking it
No, okay,
anyway.
listen,
I don't
listen,
take offense to what
listen,
boys call their stuff.
Listen. I'm not calling it a coochie. I'm just saying that's what happens when they is grinding coochies.
I feel like that's a specifically lesbian terminology.
It's not.
Okay, well, we're not going to keep arguing over grinding coochies.
Okay.
But I will say on behalf of all the young men out there
That I probably
who don't
just
know any
offended.
better than to call their stuff a coochie,
Oh, much
go
probably.
find you a daddy or a male mentor or
Go
some
find you a daddy.
uncle or something. Somebody who can help you to appreciate that you do not have a coochie, sir.
I didn't say they had coochies. I'm just saying that's what happens when they do. Just grinding coochies. Grinding their coochies with someone else's coochies.
Which implies that they have a coochie.
Yes, a coochie. It's a coochie. It's not a... It's not a...
Oh, okay.
Honestly, that's just the term you use when you're talking about all the little...
All the little what? That's the... You gotta finish the sentence, otherwise we end up with the silence we talked about.
No, I was changing the subject just now.
Yeah, you gotta do it faster so
Oh,
that
okay.
there's not long pauses.
Yeah. No, it's a term you use when you're talking about one of these little fast little girls running around, just being fast.
Thoughts? Isn't that what y'all call them now? Thoughts?
Hoes. We call them hoes.
Hoes? Okay, we're back to hoes now. Everything comes full circle.
No, they're all hoes and thoughts, but we don't use whore because that's just disrespectful.
To whom? To the working girl?
We don't call them whores. You're not a whore.
Okay,
If
so...
you want to say whore, you're trying to be very disrespectful and rude to someone.
I thought was kind of disrespectful and rude to thoughts.
Mm.
And I mean like the thoughts that you think in your head. I think the word thought is disrespectful
Because
to
I
every
know
thinking
one
person.
who just calls a lot of people thought pockets. I didn't even know what a thought pocket was, so she told me what a thought pocket was.
I think a thought pocket is like a brain fart.
No,
It's
thought pocket.
like a hole in your
I
thought
don't
process.
know what a thought pocket is, but she says thought pocket. She called me thought pocket. I was like, what is a thought pocket? She's like, oh, you're a little thought pocket. I was like, what is that? I was
Okay.
like, I am not. She's like,
Well, we're going to wrap up,
Okay.
but we just want to go ahead and highlight some of the things that we talked about.
the
If
key
you're
points.
The key points, yes, the key points. If you're going to talk to your child about sex, one, start early so that they can get used to running away from the conversation and maybe get in a point or two every couple of years and learn something.
So,
Every few years or so. Two, make sure that you're clear on, not just what your child should try to stay away from or avoid having happen to them, but also what they should avoid doing to others. Because, your child may not specifically have been molested, hurt, or harmed by anybody, but doesn't mean they're not the one doing it. So
also teach all of your children about the buddy system.
Buddy system, yes.
Buddy system is very good, and if they're not drinking the same drink, throw it.
Throw it away, throw it in their face. Yeah, don't drink anything that's been tampered with.
Make sure you always have that key person, the designated non-drinker.
If you're approached by somebody who doesn't want to take no for an answer, make sure you get progressively louder, even if you have to scream to bring attention to the situation, so that person can know very, very clearly you're not interested.
Keep a needle in your purse at all times that's filled with something that makes them pass out but doesn't kill them.
Okay. Or mace, there's
I guess that works too.
Lots of options.
I feel like the
with
needle
regard
works
to what you can put in your purse. Tasers. I mean, there's so many things.
Make sure that you get it in an artery.
Don't take all of Yasmeen's advice. She is she's
firecracker.
She's definitely has a unique point of view and perspective on how to handle situations. But I think that they've definitely also been effective in keeping her from having had bad experiences thus far in her life. So,
buddy system works.
Buddy system.
Designated non-drinker per night. So if you go out, it doesn't always have to be the same person, but you have to make sure that that person, whoever it is, they know that they are the designated non-drinker.
Right.
They also have to know that they cannot drink. If they are going to drink, you guys need to have a conversation on who should be the designated non-drinker, make sure they are okay with it, and then go follow through. Shirley Temples.
What's the downside of everybody drinking if you go out? Why do you need a designated non-drinker?
Because that person stays alert and focused. Also, they can drive home.
Okay, but you can just take an Uber and then everybody can drink, right?
Okay, but if everybody's drunk and then they get into some strange Uber. First off, Ubers are expensive. Oh my gosh. But besides the fact that Ubers are expensive, if everybody's drinking and then they get into some random car that they think is their Uber, what if it's not your Uber? What then? Because it says Uber on the front, but if everybody's drunk, who's going to look at the front?
So you're saying somebody needs to at least stay
alert
to protect
focus
the group.
Protect the group. There's a buddy system for a reason, but there needs to be a leader.
Okay.
And the leader is supposed to watch out for everybody else.
Any other tips and tricks that you think people should know that they might not know?
Depending on if you like acrylic nails, definitely go with the cat claw. That way, in case somebody tries and comes up to you, you just got that.
Okay.
Just say
Cat claw.
cat claw.
All right. Well, I think that about covers it. Yeah?
I guess I'm good. I can go.
All right. Thank you, Yasmeen, for being my guest on my first mother and daughter episode of Stimulating Conversations. And
You are welcome. My presence is always a pleasure to everyone who gets to encounter it.
yes, clearly she has no issues with self-esteem.
No one have that. No.
All right. Thank you. And you're welcome.